Susan Walton ydw i.
Sian Northey.
This house deals with themes of grief, loneliness and release from the past. Can you tell us what inspired you to explore these themes in the context of Anna's story?
Okay, without giving personal details of friends and family members, there was a man I knew who had lived alone and realised that the small decisions he'd made over the course of the years had kept him in this remote house. And he was well in his 60s and thinking, was this the right thing or not? And unfortunately, we also lost a child in the family.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is the first adult book.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, all the children's books I've done have been rollicking adventures. And this one, I mean, it doesn't mean to say there's the difference between an adult book and a children's book, but this one is very, very different in tone. It's very quiet. There's no fireworks. There's no... Even the big reveal is done very quietly. So the language is more subtle as well. The Welsh mountains and landscape play an important role in the novel. Could you talk about the importance of the setting of this house and how it affects the characters' journeys?
I think actually you're more conscious of the setting than I am. For me, it's where I live. It's like this business of weight of water. When you're in it, you don't feel it. So yes, it's set in Wales, but I don't know if it's even a conscious decision. Whereas you will often describe it as a novel set in the Welsh mountains.
Well, that was partly a sort of marketing decision. That was something that my mentor suggested, that we should emphasise that, having once kept it in Wales. I mean, there was thought at one time it could be transferred to any other location that had mountains near the sea. But the advice of the mentor was, well, if you leave it in Wales, if it's in Wales, make sure people know it's in Wales.
Yeah, fair enough, yes. Yes, well, it's the fact that everybody speaks Welsh, I guess, immediately places it, doesn't it? You know, in the original.
Yeah. I was going to say, but you can't tell that from the translation.
No.
There's one or two words I've left in,
Yeah.
which could have come out had it been transferred to somewhere else. But I've left them in for...
Yeah. Since you mentioned the mentoring, do you want to explain a bit more about that process?
Yes, it was through Literature Wales, who offer mentoring mostly to authors, original authors. They had 1 year doing one pilot for a translator, and I was fortunate enough to get that. So I was fortunate enough to get that. Diolch, Llinos. And it was quite an interesting journey. It was because having translated quite a lot of books just with conversations with the author and nobody else outside, and particularly as they were commissioned stories where at the end of the day it was what the author and publisher, because they're the same person, went. It was quite interesting to have somebody else to discuss things with, and also to have to not have an end of the day, somebody else having the final say at the end of the day. That I had the final say, up to the point, obviously, when we then found a publisher for it, and then the publisher could have changed things but didn't. Question Camille. This house has been praised for its economy and precision of language. How would you strike the balance between conveying deep emotion and maintaining a concise narrative?
I have been accused of making my readers work too hard. And I think it's my general style, and I think it's my general style as a person. I will tell you once what I think. If you don't agree, so be it.
Okay.
So, I don't know if I take it too far at times.
I think it's a lot to do with you being a poet as well.
Possibly, yes.
Yes. I think that you're very used to, and flash fiction as well.
Yeah.
You're very used to just picking precisely the right word, saying it once, like you say, saying it once.
And if you don't pick up on it.
Yeah. But that's one of the things that's quite nice about this house, is that there are clues and hints, but if you don't pick up on them the first time, they're not rammed down your throat.
And it's a fairly short book.
It's a novella,
Yeah. The landscape in which this house is set is close to where we both live. We live within 10 minutes walk of each other. How did your personal connection to that landscape affect how you treated the translation?
I know how it feels to be there and to be in that landscape. And I was able to convey some of it through through choice of words. For example, rather than saying that Anna's thoughts were going round in her head on a sunny, bright day in the mountains when she first finds the house, or first goes back to the house as an adult, I used the word circled because more than likely there'd be a buzzard circling above on a thermal. So it brings the idea of the landscape into what she's thinking and what she's thinking out of the landscape. And also in terms of the landscape, it's not just the geographical landscape, there's the internal landscape of a grumpy middle-aged woman who lives on her own.
Which we know very well.
Which I also know.
Yes, I was younger than Anna when I wrote it, and
now you're older.
Slightly, possibly.
Yes, well, we're the same age.
Yeah.
Yes. So I knew about a middle-aged woman who'd lived on her own for a long time as well.